Sister Jeana Visel, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about the domestic church. In this time of pandemic, we're invited to experience being church in a different way. Religious traditions emphasize home traditions differently. Judaism long has been sustained as much by Friday night Sabbath dinner practices, as much as by synagogue gatherings. Likewise, in Christianity, the church of the home is an important element of our faith, though at different points in history we've given some of these home practices varying levels of emphasis. In the present moment, when we may be unable to gather physically as a congregation, we're challenged to attend to the culture of our own domestic church, the church of our home. While many communities are providing live-streamed opportunities to pray or reflect, what else might we do to connect with the sacred? So a couple ideas. Sacred space. Creating a sacred space to pray within your home can be a helpful reminder that God exists and is with us through this difficult time. In the Eastern tradition, this often takes the form of a prayer corner, a shelf where sacred images, candles, or other sacramentals provide a focal point for morning and evening prayer. In the Catholic tradition, we might create such a space as a home altar, perhaps a little table where we display a small crucifix, a Bible, and some flowers. Perhaps this becomes a place to gather as a family to pray the rosary or bedtime prayers. Perhaps it's the place you can light a candle and pray early in the morning before everyone else gets up and life gets crazy. Creating the space, though, provides the reminder that prayer is important. Daily rituals. Just as important as having some space to pray is setting aside some regular time to connect with God. Daily rituals provide a sense of predictable order to your day, which no doubt looks a little bit different right now. The beauty of the domestic church is that you can arrange things in a way that works for you and your family, given your context. Perhaps you read and pray with the daily Mass readings over a cup of coffee as you wake up. Perhaps you lead your children in a prayer of thanksgiving before breakfast. Perhaps you keep some holy water by the back door so that family members can bless themselves as they come and go. Perhaps you and your spouse pray together in some quiet time before bed. It's your home, it's your space, it's your time. What are the daily rituals that might make sense to give shape to your day? Cultivating community. If you're feeling far away from your regular faith community right now, you may need to make more of an effort to connect. If you need some ideas on what you might do from a distance, you might look at sharing Lectio Divina or prayer with Scripture with a friend. I know of a group of young adults that gathers occasionally to pray Compline or night prayer via video conferencing. Maybe you form a prayer chain with people with whom to lift up those in need of intercessory prayer. Organize a video meeting Bible study or a book discussion group. Schedule time for a phone chat with a friend while taking a walk. It may take more work to build community these days, but it's possible. Concern for the needy. Even as we're kept at home through these days, particularly as we're kept at home, Christian concern for the needy means we can be church while attending to the needs of those who are vulnerable. Perhaps we call to check on those we know might be having a hard time right now. Perhaps we cook a meal for a healthcare worker doing overtime and leave it on the front steps. Perhaps we contribute to funds being raised to help those who are suffering because of the economic effects of the virus. While we may not be able to go out and physically serve in the ways we usually do, we can still write notes of support to those who need to hear an encouraging word. Perhaps play some music for those who need lifting up. How are you called to serve the needy from where you are? Pray about it. Celebrating the liturgical year. Christianity has a long tradition of rich home rituals connected with the liturgical year. If it's Advent, we light an Advent wreath each week or open the doors of an Advent calendar. If it's the Easter season, perhaps you bake hot cross buns. If it's the feast of the particular patron saint of someone in your house, perhaps you throw a special dinner celebration for that person. If it's the feast of Corpus Christi, perhaps you join in a little procession around your own backyard for Jesus. Do a little research on activities connected with celebrating the church year and you'll be delighted to discover recipes and pursuits that can make the observance of sacred time just plain fun. A couple books to get you started. The real Maria von Trapp wrote a book called Around the Year with the Von Trapp Family. More recently, mother-daughter team Melissa Musick and Anna Keating have written The Catholic Catalog, a field guide to the daily acts that make up a Catholic life. Celebrate the liturgical year, and you will find your home a more lively place as you connect with the wider church. These are just a couple ideas to get you started. The domestic church is something that we can be cultivating all the time, but especially while we're stuck at home these days, we have a beautiful opportunity to grow and deepen in our home faith practices. Blessings on you and yours.